Hello friends, this is Anand Pai, founder of Academy in Pursuit of Engineering Excellence. Today we will continue our video series on fluid mechanics. Today we will continue with our chapter 2 fluid statics, and today we will see forces on submerged surfaces. Now let us have a quick recap of whatever we have done in the last classes. First we have seen that pressure is a scalar quantity unlike stress, which is a tensor. Magnitude of pressure at a point is same in all directions. This was the Pascal's law. Rate of change of pressure in the vertically downward direction in a static fluid is equal to the weight density of the fluid. This was hydrostatic law, which is delta P is equal to rho g h. Pressure difference is equal to rho g, that is the weight density, into h. H is in the vertically downward direction. That is very important. Okay. Next, gauge or vacuum pressure is equal to absolute pressure minus atmospheric pressure. Now if absolute pressure is greater than atmospheric pressure, it is called gauge pressure. If absolute pressure is less than atmospheric pressure, it is called the vacuum pressure. The difference will come as vacuum pressure. Next, to calculate the pressure change in manometric tube, we have to increase the pressure by rho g h when we are going downwards in a manometric tube and decrease when we are going vertically up. This way we can find the difference between any point in the manometric tubes. Okay. Next, to measure small pressure changes in manometers, one of the manometric tubes can be inclined or micromanometers can be used. Now we will see what is the purpose to study forces on submerged surfaces. Whenever we consider forces on submerged surfaces, the one which is easily understandable is forces on sluice gates of a dam. Now in a dam there is some gates which are there, which is called sluice gates, which are used to open access or to water for irrigation purposes or for power generation purposes. We need to open these gates. Now to open these gates we have to use some mechanisms, and to design those mechanisms we need to understand what are the forces acting on these gates. Okay, so mechanisms might be something different. Different mechanisms can be used. Either we can use a motor here. This is a dam which is there in Sri Lanka, and here you can see a sluice gate over here. We can use some mechanism to open up this gate here and the water flows. Or it might be just like this English dam which is there in Britain. They have used a rope mechanism to open up this sluice gates. You can see this gate gets opened, and they might use a motor to pull these ropes, and at once all these gates may be opened. Okay, or they might use a rack and pinion arrangement to open up. So whatever the mechanism we are trying it out. One of the major thing we have to know is what is the forces which is acting on those submerged surface. Another application is in stability of rockets, aircraft, ships and submarines. See, whenever we consider all these machines, rockets, aircraft, ships or submarines, there are three types of forces which acts on that. One is gravity, which is acting on the center of gravity or center of gravity of the whole machine. Or second one is center of pressure, where the whole pressure forces may be assumed to act. The third one is center of buoyancy, where all the buoyancy forces may be acting. So interactions of this gives the stability. So what may happen is, because of some small disturbances, okay, it may actually become unstable, and the stability is very important, whether we take these rockets, whether we take airplanes, whether we take ships, or whether we take the submarines. Okay, so all these places we need stability. We need to calculate these forces due to forces on submerged surfaces or submerged bodies as such. Okay, and here if you consider, I have taken a aircraft door here. See, even if to open an aircraft door we need to know what is the force, the pressure force on this. Okay, so we are going to deal with this. Okay, so we will go to the simplest case, where an inclined surface is submerged in water. Okay, and this is the free surface of water, and this is an inclined surface, and this is the view when we see from this side. This is the surface here. Okay, and this is the view here. Okay, when we are seeing from this side, it looks this way. So we will see what is the forces acting on this surface. Now What we will do is, we will take out this water because it is not so great to have water again here. So here we will represent that simply by two triangles which represents the free surface of water. Now what happens here is, I will take a small strip here. Strip is actually here, if you imagine, it is towards the outside of this board, okay, and this is the strip when we see from the front view, and we will say that it has an area of dA and force which is dF is acting on that, okay. So you see the pressure forces are always normal to the area, so that area normal to that surface the force is acting, okay, and it is at a distance of h from the free surface of water, okay, and the top of that the bottom of the plate is at h2 distance and the top of the plate is at h1 distance from the free surface. Now it is inclined at an angle theta, and across the inclined surface, if we see the distance from the free surface of the water, it is x. So we will see what are the forces acting. So the small force, differential force dF is given by rho g x sine theta into dA, correct? Because x sine theta, when I say, why did I say x sine theta? Actually x sine theta is actually h, okay. So it is rho g h, the distance, into area, the small area which is there here. So it is rho g x sine theta into dA. Now we will integrate this along the whole area. When we integrate from x1 which is over here and x2 which is x1 which is here to here x2, when we integrate the whole area, we will get F is equal to x1 to x2 rho g x sine theta into dA. Now we know rho g is constant, so we can remove it. Even sine theta is constant, we can remove it. And what comes out is x1 to x2 x into dA. Now x into dA, I can represent it as here, if you see, x into dA can be represented as x bar into A, because x bar is the centroidal distance. When we say centroidal distance can be calculated as x bar is equal to integration of x dA divided by A. So integration of x1 to x2 x dA is actually x bar into A, okay. And now sine theta into x bar is actually equal to h bar, that is the distance to the centroid. Now if you see this is a centroid and this is the distance h bar to the centroid of that particular area, and this F is rho g h bar A. This F is called the total pressure. This is a very important formula for the people who are preparing for competitive exam. So kindly note down this in your formula book. Very, very important. This as well as this, both of this is very important for calculation purposes. So it is F is equal to rho g h bar A, where F is the total pressure. Now we know what is the total force acting on this particular surface. Now if you see, if you compare center of gravity, okay, what is center of gravity? Center of gravity is the point or a point where all the mass can be assumed to act, or the weight can be assumed to act. So all practical purposes, the weight can be assumed to act on this center of gravity. Similar way, where is that we can see the total pressure is acting. So the point where the total pressure is acting on the submerged surface is called the center of pressure. The center of pressure is the location on the submerged surface inside the fluid where the total pressure can be assumed to act, okay. So let us calculate that. To calculate the center of pressure, we need to take the moments, okay. So the moment of this particular force about the free surface of water is dm is equal to df into x, okay. So let us see what is df. Df is rho g x sine theta dA into x, okay. So now let us integrate that to find out the total moment, okay. So when we find out the total moment, it is m is equal to x1 to x2 rho g x square sine theta into dA. When we further do this, we can take out rho g sine theta outside because these are constants, and what remains is x square into dA. Now we will see that integration of x square dA is nothing but second moment of area about an axis which is perpendicular to the x-axis, okay, which is away from this sheet of this board. Okay, so rho g sine theta into Iyy. Okay, Iyy, y is perpendicular to this x direction on the surface of this particular surface. Okay, so it is like this on this direction, this is yy. Okay, so with respect to Iyy, where is Iyy? Iyy axis is here in this direction. Okay, so Iyy is in this direction. Along that direction we are taking the moments. Okay, so let me have the write down the pointer, pen I will write. So this is the line, this is the yy direction. Okay, so this is the y direction. So this y direction, the moment, the second moment of area about this y is this Iyy. Okay, so now that is equal to, if it has to be the same, then this, if it is equal to F into xp. Okay, if we consider this is the moment which is coming because of all these forces. Now if this is equal to F into xp, F is the total pressure, xp is the distance from this point to the center of pressure, somewhere here. Okay, so I can say, where is the center of pressure? We do not know, we will calculate that. So F into xp. Okay, now this way, what is F? We have put it rho g sine theta x bar into A into xp. Now what is xp? Xp can be Iyy divided by x bar into A, because all the other things gets cancelled. Rho g sine theta and rho g sine theta gets cancelled. So xp is Iyy divided by A into x bar. Okay, so this calculations becomes easy. Okay, now Iyy, when I say, it is actually very we do not remember the standard Iyy for standard what you say, for the some of the standard shapes. We know what is the center of what is the moment of inertia with respect to the centroidal axis. Okay, so we have to understand, we have to get a relation between the moment of inertia about any arbitrary axis and the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis, and that particular thing which establishes the relation between parallel axes is called parallel axis theorem, which is given as here Iyy is actually equal to Igy. Igy, when I say, we'll go to the pen here, Igy is, this is Igy, this particular axis is Igy. Now this Igy, which is here in this direction, plus x square, x bar square, x bar is this distance, correct? Now this is the x bar distance from this particular point to this particular center of gravity. This is my x bar. So x bar distance is this. So x bar square into A, and here we have x bar into A, which is there here. So here we can write this as Igy into x bar A plus x bar. Okay, so this is the distance of center of pressure from this free surface of water. So Igy by x bar A into x. Now here we have to understand it's around the inclined surface. If you want to find out HP, then HP is equal to xp into sine theta. That can be calculated. Now we have to understand whether this center of pressure, which we are saying Cp, we will say it is center of pressure, we will say it is P. Okay, so if I say P, we have to see whether P is in this place below the center of gravity or above the center of gravity. This is very important. Okay, so to see that, we see here xp is x bar plus something. Okay, so there is an addition here. That means xp distance is along this direction. That means the xp should be greater than x bar, because something plus x bar, because you see Igy, the moment of inertia with respect to the center of gravity cannot be negative, x bar cannot be negative, A cannot be negative. So this has to be a positive quantity. Since this is a positive quantity, xp should be greater than x bar. So my center of pressure is somewhere here. Okay, I may be exaggerating the difference, but it depends on the shape actually. Okay, depending on the shape, my center of pressure will be farther or nearer. So if it depends on the area, more the area, lesser the distance, more the area, lesser the distance between these two. I can calculate this this distance, okay, G to CP, or you can say P only. So these are all the things which are important. So what happens? Always center of pressure will be below the center of gravity. Okay, in this case there is uniform, what do you say, when the weight distribution is uniform, only then. Okay, so I hope you have understood things here. You have learnt new things in a new perspective. Okay, next videos are going to come. I'm sorry for the delay in the this one. I had got a fracture, and that is the reason I got what do you say, the videos got delayed for some time. I will continue with these videos still more in a better thing. I will try to do at least 3 or 4 videos per week. Okay, and kindly subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon so that you can get the notifications, and best of luck for your future. Thank you very much.